Welcome back to my channel, students. The last video I discussed about C3 pathway and different features, different reactions of C3 pathway. So in this video I'll be discussing about C4 pathway. So C4 pathway, first let us see what is the introduction of C4 pathway. C4 pathway, it is also called beta carboxylation pathway. It is also called as beta carboxylation pathway, or it is also called as Hatch and Slack pathway. Beta carboxylation, or it is also called as Hatch and Slack pathway, because this was first studied by these two scientists, Hatch and Slack, in sugarcane. In sugarcane, they first studied about this pathway, C4 pathway, and this is also confirmed by our Indian scientist Professor V.S. Ramdas. Also confirmed the similar studies in C4 plants. Now, the C4 plants have some special features. Let us see first what are all the features of C4 plants one by one. So, next we will discuss the topic as features of these C4 plants. So, one by one I will give you point wise what are the different features. So, first we can take first feature. C4 pathway or C4 plants are generally tropical plants. These are tropical plants. That means they can tolerate a high temperatures. They can tolerate a temperature of about 30 to 45 degrees centigrade. This temperature they can tolerate, and they are studied in both dicots and monocots. They are found. They are studied in about 1500 species. They are studied in different 1500 species belonging to 19 families. So these are studied, and they include both dicots and monocots. That means angiospermic families. And some of the examples like maize, sugarcane. Maize, sugarcane are most commonly studied, and also a dicot plant, amaranthus. Also the C4 pathway is present. Similarly, C3 pathway, as we have studied earlier, C3 pathway is also found. It is the most common type of pathway. So let us see the next feature. The fourth feature. What is the feature of the C4 plants? In next feature, though the first product is a 4-carbon compound, C4 compound, that is 4-carbon compound, which is called as oxaloacetic acid. The first product formed is a C4 compound, that is oxaloacetic acid, but their main biosynthetic pathway is photosynthetic or main biosynthetic pathway. Their main biosynthetic pathway is C3 cycle. Though their first compound formed is a 4-carbon compound, but their main biosynthetic pathway takes place with the help of C3 cycle or Calvin cycle. So now let us see what are all the different other features. So these plants can tolerate very high intensity of light and also temperature. Temperature already we have just discussed. They can tolerate high intensity of light high intensity of light. They lack photorespiration. They lack photorespiration, which is a process found in C3 plants, and it is a loss to photosynthetic yield. So these lack their photorespiration. Therefore, these are biologically they are more evolved. Biologically they are more evolved compared to that of the C3 plants because they lack photorespiration, and their productivity is more. Productivity in terms of biomass. Their productivity in terms of biomass is more compared to C3 plants. That's why these are considered to be highly evolved. And another very important feature which we find in C3 plants is the very important feature which we find is called as a peculiar leaf anatomy. A special type of leaf anatomy. Special type of leaf anatomy which is called as Kranz anatomy. Kranz anatomy. A special type of leaf anatomy which is called as a Kranz anatomy. This Kranz anatomy is closed circular arrangement of bundle sheath cells. Suppose this is the xylem and phloem present. This is the xylem vessels and this is the phloem present. And this is surrounded by a very closed circular cells which are arranged in a closed circular manner called as bundle sheath cells. So these are called bundle sheath cells surrounding the xylem and phloem. This is the xylem and phloem. So surrounding the vascular bundle we find several layers of these bundle sheath cells. So there are some features of bundle sheath cells. First thing, these are many layers are present, more than one layer. Many layers are present. These are thick-walled cells. Thick-walled cells. Many layers are present and these are thick-walled cells. They lack intercellular spaces. They lack intercellular spaces. That means these are arranged very close to each other. So they do not allow any gases to pass through. They are impervious to gases also. They lack intercellular spaces and they are impervious to gases. That means they do not allow gases to pass through. And they are large in size. They are large. Their size is small. They are large in size and they consist of agranule chloroplast. They consist of agranule chloroplast. Agranule means without any granum. So chloroplast will have both grana and stroma. So without the granum, here chloroplasts are present. And large number of chloroplasts are also present. Large number of chloroplasts are present and they are without any granum. So these are all the different features. There are many layers, thick-walled cells. They are impervious to gases. They lack intercellular spaces. They are large in size. And they consist of agranule chloroplasts and large number of chloroplasts. This is the very unique feature of leaf present in C4 plants. Because of this, they are more efficient in photosynthesis compared to the C3 plants. So, and here we find another feature we can write. So, after Kranz anatomy, we can also say they consist of dimorphic chloroplasts. Dimorphic chloroplasts. So Kranz anatomy and dimorphic chloroplasts are also the important features. So what are dimorphic? Dimorphic means two types of chloroplasts. So what are two types of chloroplasts? One is granule chloroplasts, that is with grana. These are found in mesophyll cells. And another type are called as agranule chloroplasts. These agranule chloroplasts are found in bundle sheath cells. Agranule chloroplasts are found in bundle sheath cells. Since two types of chloroplasts are present, it is called dimorphic chloroplast or chloroplast dimorphism. So this is the most important features found in C4 plants which make them more efficient. Now let us see what is the C4 pathway. What exactly is C4 pathway and where is it, how is it involved, or what are the different reactions taking place. So C4 pathway, it involves, C4 pathway will involve first two types of cells. One is mesophyll cell, another is bundle sheath cells. So the reactions will involve both mesophyll as well as bundle sheath cells. So first carbon dioxide, atmospheric carbon dioxide will enter into the mesophyll cells and it is converted in the form of bicarbonate ion, HCO3, bicarbonate ion, and here the primary acceptor is present which is called as PEP, or it is phosphoenol pyruvic acid, PEP or phosphoenol pyruvic acid. This is the primary acceptor of carbon dioxide present in mesophyll cells. So it is accepted, it accepts the carbon dioxide in the form of bicarbonate ion and then it is converted into 4-carbon compound. This is a 4-carbon compound called as oxaloacetic acid, OAA or oxaloacetic acid. So first reaction, here I have named the reactions, numbered the reactions. So first reaction, I'll give you the name of the reaction. So first reaction is called as carboxylation reaction. First reaction is called carboxylation because there is an addition of carbon dioxide to PEP, which is a primary acceptor of carbon dioxide, and it is converted into a 4-carbon compound, that is oxaloacetic acid. So this reaction is taking place where? In the mesophyll cells. Now the enzyme here, this is the name of the reaction. Enzyme is called as phosphoenol pyruvic carboxylase. Phosphoenol pyruvic carboxylase. This enzyme catalyzes the first step. So this is the first carboxylation reaction taking place in mesophyll cells. Now the oxaloacetic acid formed in mesophyll cell, it is converted into malic acid. This is the second step. Converted into malic acid. Here it requires NADPH, which is oxidized to NADP plus. So that means NADPH is donating hydrogen proton to oxaloacetic acid, which is getting reduced to malic acid. So second reaction, we name it as reduction reaction. Second reaction is called as a reduction reaction. So here what is getting reduced? Oxaloacetic acid is getting reduced to malic acid in presence of enzyme malate dehydrogenase. In presence of this enzyme called malate dehydrogenase. That is the second reaction which is taking place in mesophyll cells. Now the malic acid which is formed, now it is transported to bundle sheath cells through this plasmodesmata. These intercellular connections are called as plasmodesmata. So through the plasmodesmata, malic acid is transported to bundle sheath cells. Now let us see what are the reactions taking place in bundle sheath cells. So that is the third step. So let us see third step, third reaction which is taking place in bundle sheath cells. So here malic acid is converted into pyruvic acid, and in the process we find there is a release of carbon dioxide and NADP is accepting hydrogen and it is getting reduced to NADPH. That means here malic acid is getting oxidized as well as there is decarboxylation also. There is removal of carbon dioxide and it is converted into pyruvic acid. Both oxaloacetic acid and malic acid These are 4 carbon compounds, and now it is converted to pyruvic acid, which is a 3 carbon compound. So these 3 are oxaloacetic acid, malic acid are 4 carbon compound. Pyruvic acid is a 3 carbon compound. So now this reaction, third reaction, we can call it as oxidative decarboxylation. Third reaction, we call it as oxidative decarboxylation. That means there is both oxidation as well as decarboxylation, removal of carbon dioxide. Now this carbon dioxide which is removed, it enters into PCR cycle. What is PCR cycle? Is nothing but it is C3 cycle. PCR cycle is C3 cycle for synthesis of glucose. So PCR cycle or Calvin cycle must take place even in C4 pathway or in C4 plants in order to synthesize glucose. So C3 cycle is a part of C4 pathway. Now this is the third reaction, and the enzyme here is called as malic enzyme. The enzyme is called as a malic enzyme. Now the pyruvic acid which is formed in bundle sheath cells, it is now transported to mesophyll cells. So it is now back to mesophyll cells. Now the fourth step takes place in mesophyll cells. So let us see what is the fourth step here. In fourth step we find pyruvic acid is converted back to phosphoenol pyruvic acid. Pyruvic acid is converted back to phosphoenol pyruvic acid. For this, it requires 2 ATP molecules and 2 inorganic phosphate molecules, which are converted to 2 AMP plus 2 PP. PP stands for pyrophosphate. PP stands for pyrophosphate. That means ATP is utilized here because here phosphate is required. With the help of the enzyme here required is, the enzyme is pyruvate dikinase. The enzyme is called as a pyruvate dikinase. So here the reaction, the name of the reaction, there is a phosphorylation, addition of phosphate. So we can name the reaction as phosphorylation reaction. Phosphorylation reaction. So for phosphorylation reaction, there is a requirement of additional ATP. So here, out of these 4 reactions, we can say 3 reactions are taking place in mesophyll cells, first, second and the fourth. And in bundle sheath cells, we find Calvin cycle is taking place, PCR cycle is taking place, and also the third step is taking place in bundle sheath cells. So C4 plants involve both the 2 types of cells, that is mesophyll and bundle sheath cells. Now let us see what is the energetics of C4 pathway. What is the requirement of energy here? So energetics of C4 pathway, energetics. So what is the energy requirement or energetics of C4 pathway? So if we take the energetics of C4 pathway, how much of ATP is required? This pathway we have discussed for 1 carbon dioxide molecule. And you know, for synthesis of glucose, 6 carbon dioxide molecules are required. So therefore this pathway must be repeated 6 times. So 6 turns of this cycle must take place for synthesis of 1 glucose molecule. So whatever we have shown here, we have to multiply it by 6. So here we can find, therefore, for 1 glucose molecule, number of ATP and NADPH required. Number of ATP and NADPH required. In C3 cycle we know for 1 glucose there is requirement of 18 ATP and 12 NADPH. This is for C3 cycle or C3 plant. So same thing will hold good here, where there, because there is a C3 cycle here also. But other than this, there is additional requirement of ATP here. Additional ATP is required. What for that additional ATP is required? That additional ATP is required for regeneration of primary acceptor of carbon dioxide. There is a primary acceptor of carbon dioxide. So for regeneration, how much for 1 carbon dioxide? 2 ATP. So for total of 6 carbon dioxide, 12 ATP are required in excess. So this 18 plus 12, total of 30 ATP are required for 1 glucose molecule. For synthesis of 1 glucose molecule here, 30 ATP are required. NADPH is same. 12 NADPH are required. So that is the energetic. So why that excess ATP? Why that excess ATP required is to maintain or to regenerate this phosphoenol pyruvic acid. And to maintain the carbon dioxide levels also. Why phosphoenol pyruvic acid is required? This phosphoenol pyruvic acid, by accepting carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, it releases the carbon dioxide into the bundle sheath cells for synthesis of glucose. So that's why this excess ATP is required. So here we find some features in C4 pathway. First thing we can say, lastly we will write it as why C4 plants are considered highly evolved and more efficient compared to C3 plants. Why they are more efficient. So we can give different reasons why these are more efficient. Reasons. First reason, we can say these will lack photorespiration. They lack photorespiration. That is one reason. The next is they have 2 carboxylation reactions. They have 2 carboxylation reactions. One carboxylation is taking place in mesophyll cell. First carboxylation is found in mesophyll cells, where the primary acceptor of carbon dioxide is phosphoenol pyruvic acid. Then second carboxylation is taking place in bundle sheath cells. Here the primary acceptor, or we call it as a secondary acceptor because it is taking place later. So secondary acceptor here of carbon dioxide here is RUPP. So there are 2 carbon dioxide acceptors. So there are 2 carboxylation reactions, and that's why these are considered to be more efficient. And carbon dioxide is utilized here much efficiently without getting wasted. That's why these plants are more efficient compared to C3 plants. So some of the examples, I already gave you the examples of C4 plants. So some examples of, lastly, C3 plants also you can take. Some examples of C3 plants. C3 plants, C3 cycle, it takes place in 80% of angiosperms. It takes place in 80% of angiosperms. That means most common is C3 cycle compared to C4 pathway. So some of the examples like wheat, rye, oats. These are all monocots. Rice also, rice, wheat, rye, oats, monocots. All these are monocots. Rice, then cotton, sunflower, and chlorella. You know chlorella is an alga. Chlorella is an alga. Cotton and sunflower. Cotton and sunflower, these are the dicot plants. So it is found in both dicot as well as monocots, and but mostly found in dicots, and 80% of angiosperms we find C3 plants. And C4 plants are also found in C4 pathway is also found in both dicots as well as monocots. So with this I conclude C4 pathway, children. So I hope you have understood it. So you have to write it down the pathway properly, clearly, and understand. All these my video sessions which I am continuing, it will be useful both for all these types of students who are appearing for different exams like NEET exam, or if they are long-term students, repeaters, for them it will be very useful. So share it to your friends, and maximum you share, and then ask them to subscribe my channel, so that you will be getting notifications, and all these explanations will be very useful. So this I feel it is like a classroom teaching, board explanation, rather than simply just showing some PPTs or some in a amusement way. So it should be some serious work should be done. So you should feel like it should be a classroom teaching. So I have started recently this channel, so that I want to help maximum number of students who are appearing for NEET, and also who are appearing for next board exams. Especially this is aimed for 11th and 12th class students, and even higher levels of biology also. So share it to your friends maximum, and ask them to subscribe my channel. So with this I conclude this session. In my next video I'll be discussing about CAM pathway, which is almost similar to this. So when you read this, both you have to read simultaneously, both you have to study simultaneously, so that it will be very clear. So thank you very much, children. We'll meet in my next session. Have a good day.